Hello and welcome back to Simple Money Podcast, Canada's own personal finance podcast presented in short and informative episodes. I'm your host, Matthew Seawick, also known as the Friendly Financial Coach. And today we're going to cover the new Canada Student Service Grant, also known as CSSG for short. This new grant was announced about a month ago, but just went live last week. This program adds to the growing list of acronyms put in place to help Canadians weather the financial impacts of COVID-19. And this one, of course, targets students. So overall, this program can offer some major benefits to students that want to help within their communities, beef up their resumes, and earn some extra cash at the same time. So how does this program work? Well, qualifying individuals will volunteer with an organization, and they receive a grant that ranges from $1,000 to $5,000 if they fully qualify based on hours. This grant is fully taxable and is intended to be used for educational purposes. However, the agents that I spoke with at the Canadian government said that doesn't need to be, and the students can use it for whatever they want. This program runs from June 25th to October 31st, 2020, which is about 18 weeks, and the registration cutoff date is on August 21st, 2020. And to apply for the program, all applications must be made through the I Want to Help federal jobs portal. And in the blog post for this episode, we'll include a direct link to that. So digging into the fine details of this program, the first step is to really determine if an applicant qualifies for the program. First of all, the individual must be a student or recent graduate. A student is qualified if they're registered as either a part-time or full-time student during the spring, summer, or fall semesters of 2020. They must also be going to an eligible educational institution. And graduates include those that have completed studies in December 2019 or later. The individual must also be under the age of 30 as of December 31st, 2020, and be either a Canadian resident, permanent resident, refugee, First Nations, Métis, or Inuit. Applicants can also still be receiving the Canada Emergency Student Benefit, but importantly, not the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, also known as CERB. So when it comes to the organizations that you can apply to, they include a humongous variety of nonprofits and charities across Canada. In my area of Toronto, some of these opportunities included being involved with the YMCA, Kids Help Phone, the Girl Guides of Canada, and more. And all opportunities that are offered on the portal are vetted by the federal government and must be located within Canada. They must also provide the volunteers with meaningful work and must be in response to COVID-19. So one of the cool things about this program is that it's not restricted just to in-person volunteer opportunities. It also includes distant opportunities like doing online social media management and stuff like that. So one of the first questions that always comes up about this program is how much of a grant can I receive? And this amount ranges from $1,000 to $5,000 depending on how many hours the applicant has completed. A simple way of looking at this program: for each 100 confirmed volunteer hours, the applicant is eligible for $1,000 worth in grant. So to receive the maximum amount, you would have to work 500 hours before the program end date on October 31st, 2020. And one of the more annoying and frustrating details about this program is that volunteer hours are rounded down to the nearest 100 increments. So this means if some poor soul volunteered 395 hours, they would only count 300 hours for this program, which would equate to $3,000 in grant. Now, the full duration of this program is 18 weeks, so an individual would have to work on average 27.8 hours per week to receive the full $5,000, which is about 3 to 4 days of work a week. If someone was aiming for the $1,000 grant, they would have to have an average of 5.6 hours per week, which is about 1 day a week that they would have to volunteer. And of course, as we get closer to the end date of the program, the amount that you would have to work every single week to receive the grants would increase because there's less time to actually work before the deadline. So an important detail is how the volunteers are actually paid. And how it works is once you're done all of your placements, you have to fill out an application, which will then be processed, and it's stated that it'll take approximately 60 days to receive payment. So if anyone's interested in this program, the application process is pretty straightforward. First, one needs to confirm that they're eligible for this program, and then afterwards, what happens is they have to then find a placement that they need to register for. I was fiddling around with the portal earlier today, and there are still thousands of positions that are available. To complete the process, the individual will also have to have a valid ID, proof of education enrollment, or proof of graduation to complete the registration process. One of the cool things about this too is that if someone is currently volunteering at another location, they may be able to actually use that role to qualify for this program. There's a specific application that can be made to try to have your volunteer organization included in this plan. So what do we really think about this program? Well, it really will benefit a student that is looking to volunteer and gain relevant work experience. Many of the organizations that are looking for volunteers are filling positions that may be more difficult than typical for a student to receive. Also, they're offered at organizations that may even be able to offer roles once the volunteer period ends. Currently, there are also many volunteer opportunities that are available on the website, including some organizations that are looking for more than 1,000 volunteers. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking for an income source, this is probably not the best program for you. Some simple math shows that the equivalent of this grant is about $10 per hour, which is much lower than minimum wage in any province across Canada. Another downside about this program is that you're not paid when you actually do the work. You're paid much, much later. And in some cases, it may even be near the end of the year where you receive your payment. So that's it for today, but the full notes for this show and a series of links will be provided in our blog page at ffcoach.ca/blog. Thanks again for listening, and if you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving a rating. This really helps us out. You can also contact me at info@ffcoach.ca or f_f coach. So take care and talk to you soon.